Aryna Sabalenka comments on Emma Raducanu's choice to go coach-free. The British tennis player emerged as one of the biggest talents in the sport, but her career did not go in the direction she had hoped. Although Emma Raducanu has had many shining moments in recent seasons, it seems that it is far from the level at which she wants to be. The 23-year-old recently parted ways with her longtime coach Francisco Roig and decided to continue her career without a permanent coach. Many important figures of the tennis scene reacted to her decision, including Aryna Sabalenka, who was asked at the press conference whether she could continue without a coach. The Belarusian tennis player is clearly not open to such an option, saying that support is always needed and that she could hardly continue her career without a coach. Nevertheless, she understands Emma Raducanu's decisions, stressing that sometimes it is difficult to find the right coach and that it takes a period to understand who is the right person for you. Yeah, I'm ready to fire all of them right now. No, I think for me personally it would be tough. I think even though I'm mentally tough and strong, for me it's important to feel the support and to see my team in the box and just have my people around. So for me, right now I don't see myself being without the coach. And even though I'm, smart and I know tennis, I know everything, but at the same time, I don't like to go in the practice and do the whole practice myself. It just takes too much of an energy, she said, as quoted by Tennis Head. Plans. Emma Raducanu is currently working with Mark Petchey, but it is still not known who could be her next coach. The British tennis player is now focused on her performance at Indian Wells, not wanting to go into the topic of coaches too much or comment on her ideas and plans. Aryna Sabalenka's honest take on Emma Raducanu's coach-free gamble. In professional tennis, the relationship between player and coach often forms the backbone of success. Behind every powerful serve and every carefully constructed rally lies hours of strategy sessions, technical adjustments, and emotional guidance. Yet occasionally a player decides to challenge that convention. When British star Emma Raducanu chose to step onto the court without a permanent coach, the tennis world immediately began debating whether such independence could work at the sport's highest level. Among the voices weighing in was world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka, a player whose career has been shaped by strong guidance from her coaching team. Sabalenka's reaction was thoughtful, candid, and revealing, not only about Raducanu's situation but also about the modern realities of professional tennis. Her message was clear. While Raducanu's decision might make sense for her at the moment, Sabalenka believes that in the long run most players ultimately need a coach by their side. Raducanu's bold experiment. Emma Raducanu's career has been one of the most fascinating stories in recent tennis history. In 2021, she shocked the world by winning the US Open as a qualifier, becoming the first player in the Open era to capture a Grand Slam after coming through qualifying. Since that remarkable victory, however, her journey has been far from smooth. Injuries, fluctuating form, and frequent coaching changes have complicated her progress. Over the years she has worked with multiple coaches, including figures like Nick Cavaday, but partnerships often ended quickly as she searched for the right fit. Eventually Raducanu began questioning whether constant technical adjustments were helping or hurting her game. She suggested that excessive coaching had sometimes taken away her natural instincts on the court. Instead of committing to another long-term coach, she decided to experiment with a more independent approach, relying on occasional advice from trusted figures while essentially guiding herself during tournaments. The decision raised eyebrows across the tennis community. Some analysts believed the freedom could allow Raducanu to rediscover the fearless style that carried her to her historic Grand Slam win. Others worried that without consistent guidance, competing against the world's best would become even more difficult. Naturally, players on the tour were asked what they thought. Sabalenka's perspective. When reporters asked Aryna Sabalenka about Raducanu's coach-free approach, she answered with honesty but also respect. Sabalenka acknowledged that what works for one athlete might not work for another. If Raducanu feels comfortable experimenting with independence, Sabalenka said, then it might be a good decision for her at this stage. However, Sabalenka also predicted that Raducanu would eventually return to having a coach. The Belarusian star explained that tennis at the highest level requires constant feedback, tactical planning, and emotional support. Even the most talented players benefit from someone watching from the outside and providing perspective. In Sabalenka's view, a coach is not merely a technical instructor. A coach is also a strategist, a psychologist, and sometimes even a calming influence during the stressful moments of a long season. Her reasoning reflects her own experience. The coaching system behind Sabalenka's success. Sabalenka's career has flourished with the help of a stable coaching structure. Since 2020, she has worked closely with Anton Dubrov, who has helped guide her to multiple Grand Slam titles and the world #1 ranking. The partnership is more than a simple professional arrangement. Dubrov, along with other members of Sabalenka's team, forms part of a support network that travels with her throughout the year. Their responsibilities include analyzing opponents' playing styles, designing match strategies, adjusting technical details in practice, managing fitness and mental preparation, providing emotional stability during difficult matches. In a sport where matches can swing on a few points, such guidance can be invaluable. Sabalenka has often spoken about how her team helped her overcome struggles with consistency earlier in her career. At one stage, she battled severe serving problems, committing an unusually high number of double faults in important matches. With technical adjustments and mental training from her coaching staff, she gradually transformed that weakness into a more reliable weapon. From Sabalenka's perspective, that transformation is proof of how essential coaching can be. Independence versus guidance. Raducanu's experiment raises a broader philosophical question in tennis. How much independence should a player have? Tennis is a uniquely individual sport. Once the match begins, the player stands alone on the court. Unlike team sports such as football or basketball, there are no timeouts where a coach can step in and change tactics mid-game. Because of this, many great players emphasize self-reliance. Champions must learn to solve problems during matches without immediate guidance. Yet even in such an individual sport, the influence of coaches remains enormous. Legendary players like Serena Williams, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal all worked closely with trusted coaches for much of their careers. Their teams helped refine strategies, maintain physical condition, and manage the intense travel schedule of the professional tour. Sabalenka believes that balance is key. Players must develop independent thinking on the court while still benefiting from expert advice off it. Why Raducanu wants freedom? From Raducanu's point of view, stepping away from a traditional,